What's up, YouTube? Now, today I want to talk to you about something that I'm very passionate about. And I want to inform you as to how powerful you can be. You see, your whole life, people are going to sit there and they're going to tell you why you cannot do things. They're going to tell you why you're not powerful, why success, your dreams, your goals are out of reach and they're unrealistic. I want to explain to you why people say this to you and why it's not true. And I also want to tell you the key factors and tools you can use in order to eradicate any limiting beliefs you might have to allow you to actually reach your goals, accomplish them, exceed them, and continue to excel and tap into your potential. So today I want to really dive into the concept of belief systems. Now, your belief system is really the programming in your brain. That's another word for it. Everyone has some kind of belief system, some kind of programming. And no two belief systems are going to be the same. Many will be similar, but they will not be the same. And I'll give you an example. And the reason they're not going to be the same is because everyone has their own experiences, their own memories, and their own associations through life. Now, of course, there are universal emotions, there are universal processes for how people go about things, and there are successful beliefs and patterns that people have that if you find in somebody, obviously increase their likelihood and chances for success. Now, I want to teach you what the most successful people think throughout this channel, throughout our journey together, and I also want to show you how to eradicate all of the unsuccessful limiting beliefs you might have. Now, when it comes down to limiting beliefs and empowering beliefs, there are very minor differences. And the only thing stopping you from actually being able to tap into your potential is the knowledge and the know-how of how to change them and how to know what was given to you rather than what is your own. Now, beliefs that are given to you are almost always limiting. And I'll tell you what I mean. There is no belief that doesn't have a limitation. Whether you believe you're going to be a billionaire, you're limiting yourself from becoming a trillionaire. If you want to be a trillionaire, you're limiting yourself from the next number up. If you want to have a relationship, a perfect relationship, your idea of perfect is limited to what could potentially be better because you no longer see it. And we're full of these limiting beliefs. Now, so many people like to be logical and rational. Now, the problem with logic and being rational is because in the same emotion you're feeling, you're going to only be logical and rational in that belief system. Now, belief systems are constructed on emotion. So imagine different programs running on different emotions. Now, I'll give you an example. You pull up your cell phone and happiness is iMessage, right? And whenever you're happy, you can only use text messaging apps such as Facebook Messenger, Instagram DMs, and iMessage. Now, when you're angry, the only apps you can use are the phone apps. So for example, being able to FaceTime someone or call someone. Well, the mind works in the same way. The only thing that will pop up in your awareness really varies depending on the emotions you feel. Now, depending on the emotion you feel, you're going to be limited by the belief system that comes with that emotion. So how do you get over those limiting beliefs in those emotional states? Well, when you're happy, you have to understand that the reason we feel emotion is to achieve something. We are looking for something with our emotions. You always have an intention behind every behavior. Nothing is on accident. Me moving my sleeves up, me blinking, talking, moving my hands, nothing is on accident. And once you understand that nothing is on accident, no movement, no sound, no thought happens on accident, then you have to understand that it has an intention. And when you start to see things in that light, things become a lot clearer, and I'll tell you why. Because if you understand that everything has an intention, you also understand that everything comes from an emotion. Because emotion is the thing that creates the intention. So if every behavior, thought, and movement you make comes from an emotion, well, then the intention is set from the emotion you feel. Now, if you can change the emotions you feel, you're going to change the intentions you set. And if you change the intentions, you're going to have to change the strategy. Now, the belief system really is just a strategy or a program to help you get an outcome. This sounds complicated, but I'm going to simplify it right now. If you feel an emotion, you now have an intention. I'll give you an example. My intention is to get a chocolate bar from the refrigerator. So I feel excitement. Then my belief system doesn't focus on any distractions. It won't focus on my friends talking to me. It won't focus on my phone ringing. It'll just focus on the chocolate bar in the fridge. Everything else is deleted from my reality. I cannot see any other path. I have one hallway and one door to my refrigerator. I'm not going to think about going through the window. I'm not going to think about any of those things. I'm just going to think about my one path. Now, the program I'm running is that belief system. right? I'm now limited between that hallway, that door, and that refrigerator. That is the only way I can get my chocolate. Now let's just say the door collapses, it's locked, and I can't get in, and there are no windows in the kitchen. Well, I'm probably now going to feel a different emotion. Why? I'm going to feel frustration or anger. I'm going to feel it because my strategy didn't work. So my brain then changes the emotion to create a different strategy. And that strategy now has a different belief system. And that belief system is really going to be something like looking at the past or the future for evidence to sustain the emotion. So this is complicated, but I'm trying to teach you years of psychology in a few moments. And this is my theory because I've invented it. And I'll tell you exactly how it works. Emotions are sustained through evidence. We are supposed to sustain emotion because an emotion is an intention-based feeling. So if I feel depression as an example, or sadness, what is the intention behind that? Usually it is to get love or attention or affection. So I'm depressed. I victimize myself. Now we learn this as adolescents because you see a baby will cry every time they want something and then the parents will give it to them. Now when you're feeling depression as an example, the intention behind it is to receive something, is to get something. If you don't get it, if you don't get the thing that you want in that emotion, one of two things happens. You either feel more of the emotion, so I get more depressed and it becomes more and more extreme, or I become flexible and then I change my emotion. I realize depression isn't giving me what I want, so now I become happy. And now I change my lifestyle and all of a sudden things are working out. The mind always goes for what works. Nothing is on accident. It's not just like you're born depressed. No, you're depressed because you're trying to get something. You're happy because you're trying to get something. You're excited because you're trying to get something. And that's what people don't understand. Emotions are just ways to accomplish outcomes. So you are not really a victim of your emotion. All an emotion is a strategy to get to where you want to go. Now, what fuels the emotion is the belief system. You see, in order to feel sad, what do I have to do? I have to think about why my life is so shitty. And I will be limited to all the things in my life at that moment that are absolutely shitty. My mind will not allow me to look at the things that are amazing, that are incredible, because my mind does not want to stop feeling that emotion, because my mind believes that that emotion will get me the thing that I'm looking for, whatever that intention is. So you need to become aware of the intention you feel, right? Behind the emotion. What is the intention behind the emotion you are feeling right now? And once you unlock that intention, you realize the positive intention. Everything's always a positive intention. Once you find the positive intention behind the emotion you're feeling, whether it's sadness, stress, depression, anger, happiness, you can then ask yourself, what is the best emotion to actually achieve this? Is it depression? Is it happiness? Is it motivation? What is the best emotion to feel? And then change your emotion. Boom! You change it. You feel happy. Now I want to be happy, right? So you pretend. You act like you're happy. Well, if you act, guess what's going to happen? You're actually physically going to become happy. Your mind doesn't know the difference. Now, contrary to popular belief, people are always like, I'm wearing a mask. I'm pretending. Well, I promise you, you can feel sad and smile, but then you're not truly smiling. If you smile the same way you would when you were really happy, you're bound to feel actually happy. Most people don't know how to control their emotions or change them. So I want to show you how to do that now. Now, I know I've said a lot of information in a short amount of time, so I'm going to summarize it and then move forward. Emotions are strategies to get something. What fuels the emotion is the beliefs that you hold on to, your model of the world, the way you see the world. Now, the way you see the world changes depending on the emotion you feel. And there's a wide range of emotions you can feel. It's not black and white. You can feel this emotion mixed with that emotion, which will change your belief systems. Now, you will be limited to the beliefs you have inside of that emotional state unless you change your emotional state. So if something isn't working, you need to be able to change your emotional state to maybe more optimism, motivation, excitement, happiness, because there are other emotions that have much less limiting paradigms. So how do you change your emotional state to be able to become more successful? And where could this be useful? Well, you look at any goal you might set. If something isn't working out for you, what do you have to do? You got to change. And then as soon as you change that emotional state, now you see things differently. All of a sudden, all the things that were right in front of you, all of the opportunities, all of the resources that you already were able to tap into that are right there, you can now actually take advantage of. Whereas before you didn't see them because you were so caught up in that negative emotion that you were limited by the paradigm that came with it. So how can you change your emotional state in order to empower yourself to become more successful? This is what the most successful people on the planet do. If this emotion isn't working, if this strategy isn't working, they have to change it. If I'm walking down a path and there's a wall in front of me and I keep walking into the wall, well, I'm not going to get past the wall, will I? But if I take a second, I look at the wall, I walk around it, I climb over it, I dig under it, I break through it, well, all of a sudden, now I'm actually going to be able to become more successful because I've become flexible. Now, so many people struggle with this idea of flexibility and change because they don't know how. Now, I want to show you how easy it is to change your emotional state. And if you can master these three things here, you will change your emotions on command. The first thing is your focus. What am I paying attention to? You see, there's a part of the brain called the reticular activating system, RAS for short. And that determines what you're going to pay attention to. Really, it's the Google search engine of your brain. When you feel sad, that will now search for all the sad memories and things in your life and then filter them in such a way where you now feel sad. If you want to be happy, your RAS will then search for happiness. Have you ever felt extremely excited for something? You wanted it so bad and finally you were about to get it. Well, you had to search for that right now. You see, your RAS is constantly activated. Even by listening to my voice, by listening to what I'm saying, you have to pay attention to me. Your RAS is focusing on me. Now, if you could take control of that, which you can, all of a sudden you now get to control your emotional state. So I want you now to focus on the state, on the things that you want to feel. I want to feel happy. I'm going to think about happy things in my life. All the things that make me excited, enthusiastic. The second thing that controls your emotional state is your physiology. When you're stressed, sad, unhappy, you're going to slouch, you're going to look down, you're going to breathe slow, you're going to talk slow. When you're happy, you're up, you're erect, you're motivated, you feel great. So you're going to change your physiology. That's the second thing. And the third thing is the self-talk. When I'm about to cry, when I'm feeling depressed, do I say, I'm a worthless piece of shit? Or do I go, I'm fucking amazing. My life's amazing. Holy shit, I'm so happy right now. However you would talk to yourself, you need to talk to yourself in the same way. So your self-talk, your physiology, and your focus. Very basic principles. If you can master them, you get to change your emotions on command. And if you learn when to change your emotions, as soon as something isn't working, you can immediately change your state to something else or go into somewhere else. Not only do you become more influential, more powerful, and more positive, but you now have much more success in your life because you don't get stuck by the limiting paradigms that were handed to you by other individuals. Now, believe it or not, you're going to emulate the emotional patterns and behaviors of your parents and the people around you while growing up. So if your mom was always a victim or your dad was always angry, the go-to strategies your mind will adopt will be the emotional patterns that your parents had while growing up, or your teachers or your friends or whoever raised you. So in order to overcome the things that were handed to you, the things that limited them, you have to learn how to master your emotions. You see, a person who masters their emotions is a person who can master their life. If you can master your emotions, anything you set your mind to, any dream you have, will literally become your reality. So practice this, nail this, and I promise you, just by understanding this one simple concept, your entire life can change in an instant. Emotions change in an instant. Strategies happen instantly. Success happens instantly. As long as you change your mindset up here by changing your emotions, you're going to change your life in an instant. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe. Share with some friends that might need this. And remember, if you want to master these things, it takes practice. Nothing happens overnight in the sense that skills aren't just adopted. If you practice these skills, though, success can feel like it literally happened overnight. Your emotions can change in an instant. All you have to do is practice. Again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with some friends you think would actually find this valuable. And if you really like this content, comment below, and I'll keep posting some more for you guys.